Hi all, welcome to yet another video of Currynpho. So today I have an exciting topic. In my last video, I was talking about my top reasons why I moved to Vietnam. One among those were living cost. So today I'm going to give you guys a detailed breakdown into how much it's going to really cost to live in one of the cities in Vietnam. So let's get started. Alright, so welcome back guys. Let's begin this video. Let's rock it. So this video I've divided into 6 sections for you guys. Alright, so the first section is rent and utilities. The second will be food and drinks. The third one will be transportation. The fourth is communication. The fifth is clothing. And the last one, the sixth part, will be parties and other expenses. Alright, so let's begin with the very first one, rent and utilities. Okay, so it depends on your pocket, I would say. What do you need and how much you can spend? It all depends on that. So if you're a single person, I would highly recommend for you to go for a service room, or if you want something more cheaper, you can go for shared houses. That means you rent a house together with another expat or another Vietnamese to, live. So basically, your rent will be cheaper, you share the utility bill, everything, so it's way cheaper than renting yourself. And if you want to live your own and have that freedom to live in your own place, then I would highly suggest for you to go for service rooms or studio apartments. So service room starts from 5 to 6 million depending on the place, how big that room is, what are the facilities available in the room. So it will go up from, and if it's a new one and if it looks fancy, then obviously it will cost higher. And studio apartments, that will be a big jump from 5 to 6 million to all the way to 12 to 15 million, because it is divided, like there's a real hall, there's a small kitchen, and then you will have another room which is a bedroom, and probably you will be lucky to have a balcony as well. So it all depends on what you need, and if you're a couple, then I would highly suggest for you to go for a studio apartment. And the last one will be serviced apartments, or normal apartments. That will be basically for families who have probably a kid. Then yes, you might need an apartment to live. So those are basically for people who are not just traveling here, probably for gonna stay here quite a while, who's have you want to work here for some time. Then yes, obviously you need to go for that. The other cheaper option will be to rent a house rather than an apartment. Sometimes apartments are more expensive than a house. However, for expats, renting a house is very difficult because normally they need to get some police clearance certificate or something, and not all houses can do that. I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I have never stayed or rented a house in Ho Chi Minh City myself, but if someone else, some other expats, if you have done that, let me know in the comment section. But it's a lot comfortable for you guys to rent an apartment, and it's so easy to do that. My recommendation for anyone traveling here, the first 6 months, it's the best to get into a serviced room. This will have everything from a bed, a small fridge, a small kitchen, your own toilet, a desk and a chair, and if you're lucky, you will also have a balcony. So if you move into a service room, basically you will have the flexibility. You can get that 6 months contract in, and then you can go around and check for another place if you need to move into a bigger one, or if you think that that's expensive, you can move into something more cheaper. So the rent, let's say a ballpark figure, 7 million Vietnam dong. The next one, utilities, if you're in a service room, it will cost you somewhere from 500 to 700 Vietnam dong. That's the normal figure. It can go up to 1 million Vietnam dong if you're using aircon the entire day. So but if you're living in an apartment like where I live right now, it will cost you somewhere around 1.5 million. All right, so that let's put like 7 million for the rent and say 1 million extra for the utilities. So that makes it a total of 8 million for rent and utilities. Now let's go for the next one, which is food and drinks, which is my favorite part. With food and drinks, let's start with breakfast. All right, I have a coffee in the morning, so I'll spend roughly around 15k, 15,000 Vietnam dong. I just grab a cup of coffee from the street or from a local Vietnamese shop. It will cost you just 15,000 dong. And probably you can get the breakfast from the same coffee shop or from a normal banh mi shop, or you have something which will be really close to your place. So a banh mi will cost roughly around 10 to 20,000 Vietnamese dong. Or even if you want to have, how to say, sticky rice with chicken, it will cost you 25k. Kebab bun, which will also cost like kebab inside and a bun on the top, similar to banh mi but in a rectangular shape. That will also cost you somewhere around 20,000. So no matter what breakfast you're gonna grab, probably I grab a light breakfast, so for me it costs only like 20 to 25 max every day. So the total breakfast will cost you somewhere around 40k Vietnam dong. Now coming to lunch. Lunch will be a little bit expensive because I might go to my office and I will eat somewhere close by, or I order in. So even if I order in, it will cost me somewhere around 60 to 70,000 dong. Or if I just go out and eat, it will cost me 55k. So let's say 50k as my lunch, and after lunch I normally grab another cup of coffee. But coffees within the city is gonna cost a little. I mean, if you're getting coffee somewhere where you work, it's gonna cost a little bit more. So I will put the coffee cost as 25k. So the lunch will cost you somewhere around 75,000 dong. Now going to getting a snack or something, you know, throughout the day you might want to snack something, or you can grab a Vietnamese snack like a bun bao or some chuy chin, which is banana fry, you know, all that stuff, which will cost you somewhere around 25k max, you know, not more than that. So let's keep the snack rate as 20k, and another 20k for a bubble tea or a smoothie or whatever you want to have. So total snack will cost you somewhere around 40k. All right, after snack you have dinner. So the dinner will most probably will cook. Normally when I was single, I used to cook almost all the time. However, if you're gonna eat out, let's take the case of eating out almost every day, it will cost you roughly around 40 to 50k. Normally I don't buy coffee or anything in the evening, but I usually buy 2 cans of beer, so that will be like 30k, and 30 plus 40, so 70,000 Vietnam dong. So if we calculate, that makes it 225k, which is roughly around 10 to $12. So it's actually I think it's cheaper, considering that you're gonna have all the meals, all the food from a restaurant or from outside. However, if you cook, you can probably save up 40 to 50% of the cost. So I would say if you can cook breakfast and dinner at home, you can save a lot of money. So considering that you're single and you're probably gonna eat all the meal outside, let's calculate how much that's gonna cost for a month. So if it's gonna cost you $9 to $12 for a day, it's gonna cost you like $300 plus for a month just for food. So I would say that keep a range of 6 to 8 million for food. So initially it was roughly around 8 million for rent, 8 million for food and drinks. All right, now we are coming to our third point, which is transportation. So I would say the best bang for the bucks will be to rent a bike or buy a bike when you're here. Like a bike, I mean scooter or a motorcycle. You can easily get a scooter for starting from 6 million. You can buy a motorcycle here. You know, I would say to be safer, buy something which costs more than 10 million. Initially, you can come here and rent a bike. You don't need to buy a bike, you can rent one. So you get to know how much actually it costs, where to go and buy and all that stuff. So it'll give you that flexibility for the first couple of months, and you'll get used to the roads and everything. Because when you rent the bike, it will cost you somewhere around 800 to 1.2 million per month, or 1.5. Some places charges very high. You might need around 50,000 dong for putting the petrol for every petrol or gas, for every week. So I would say it will cost you 200K for a month. So that will come around, say if you're spending 1 million for the bike and 200K for petrol, your total is roughly around 1.2 million for your transportation. However, renting a bike or buying a bike is not just the options. You have Grab. Grab is something similar to Uber in US or in India. However, Grab here has the bike one, so you can choose the bike ones, because if you're going by car in Vietnam, it's gonna take you so much time to reach the destination. So I would always recommend using a bike to go anywhere. It's so easy, just jump on and then you will reach the destination in no time. So it's that easy. So Grab is one, GoGex is another one, which you can use. They also have taxis. So basically, if you don't want to use a bike, you can use a taxi in the car as well. Then we have a couple of other, taxi services like Vinasun and Mylane. So they're basically normal taxi. They do not have an app. I think they do, but they are the local taxis. They will be available on the street all the time, so you can just wave your hand and they will stop by. Or they also have a phone number to call to, and you can call them and they will come to the location where you have ordered to. However, it's very hard to do that unless you are a Vietnamese, because they don't speak English. I haven't had that experience yet. Even though Grab, the people who come on the bike and the car, if they cannot speak English, they still can chat with you. You can text the message, you can send them a photo of the location and everything. So it's a lot easier to communicate through those applications. So yeah, so you can buy the bike or rent, or you can use Grab or normal taxi. The last one is the bus. For me, I have lived here for the past couple of years. I have no clue where the bus stop is. I have no clue which bus to take to go where. So it's very hard. Only Vietnamese can crack that. So I would say it's up to you. If you want to take it, if you want to have that adventure, go for it. All right, so transportation wise, that's the best. I would say the best is to rent a bike if you can do that. There are many different places where you can learn to ride a motorbike here. However, I highly suggest to have that license from the place where you come from initially, before you can do the riding here. So transportation, if we take up the major concentration will be renting a bike. So that will cost you 1.2 million. But if you're going to use Grab or GoGet for a month, say that you commute to and fro commute per day will cost you somewhere around 35, so it's like 70K. So 70K multiplied by 30 days, it will cost you 2.1 million. So 2.1 million versus 1.2 million. So if you're renting a bike, it's a lot cheaper. So I would say that, just let's calculate renting a bike, 1.2 million. All right, now let's get into the next one, which is communication. So communication is all about your mobile internet, your broadband, and your mobile charging things, all those stuff. So mobile recharges or top-ups are pretty cheap here, not so costly. But I'm not sure about international calling cards, because I don't know who uses that these days. Everyone has WhatsApp or Viber or Zalo in Vietnam. Nobody uses those international calling cards anymore. So the mobile internet is super cheap. I use both Mobifone and Viettel in Vietnam, so Those are the big two carriers here. They're pretty cheap. I spend like 120 or 30K per month, and I have like 3 GB for 30 days, and every day I have 3 GB internet. So, and they have a lot of different options, so you can choose as per your needs. However, I highly suggest going for Viettel if you wanna roam around Vietnam so much, because their range is much better than Mobifone. I somehow felt that way. However, my primary SIM card is Mobifone, but I still have Viettel. So what I suggest is to buy both the SIM cards, and if you're traveling, charge them both. So you might have either Mobifone or Viettel available all the time. So that's that. Now coming to broadband. Broadband is also so cheap in Vietnam. It starts from 200K to 400 or 500K depending on the bandwidth and all that. The total cost will be roughly around, let's say, 300K for mobile internet and your normal broadband. Now coming to clothing. Clothing here, it's cheap. However, it depends on what you buy. If you buy some branded goods, definitely it's gonna cost a lot. However, there are cheaper options in Vietnam. You can go to Saigon Center, which is nearby in District 1. You have cheaper options. You can even buy a jeans for 400K, which is roughly around $20. So it's so cheap, and I would say that you can save up a lot of money. But if you are a big foot person, get your shoes from the place where you're coming from. Don't try to get it from Saigon or anywhere in Vietnam. It's really tough because there are some places where you can find. I'm not saying that you can't. However, your selections are pretty rare and not so many. So you won't be able to choose what you really want, It's just whatever is there, that's all you can buy. So whenever I go for buying a formal shoe, it's really tough because for me, formal shoes are always tighter. So I need to get a size of 11 or 11.5 UK size. So it's really hard to find those kind of sizes. Or what you can do is you can go and get it custom made. That's possible here because there are so many people who can do that. I haven't tried it yet. I might give it a shot next time. So I go for Aldo for my formals here, and they're pretty expensive, like 3 million for a shoe. And then I will go for any other brands for sports shoes, because my sports shoe size is roughly around 10.5, so it's okay, I can still get that. But for some of my friends, they have 11 for sports shoes. It's very hard to find unless you go to some Russian center. I've heard that those places have bigger sizes. I haven't tried it out. Probably I will try out on I will check out that place and let you guys know. Yeah, so I would say that clothing wise, in a month you might spend roughly around $1 million or $2 million. I'm not saying that you're gonna spend every month for clothing, but let's keep that 1 million per month. Now coming to parties and other expenses, this is totally on you, however you want to party. I normally party with my Vietnamese friends in the Vietnamese way, and sometimes I go out with other expats. However, that's very rare because most of my friends are Vietnamese and I only have 2 to 3 Indian friends in Vietnam. I would say that it will not cost you more than 3 to 4 million if you're doing it in the Vietnamese way. However, if you are a really party person and if you want to party hard and if you want to go to big clubs and then it's gonna cost you a lot of money, because one bottle in a good club will cost you roughly from 2 to 5 million, one bottle of whiskey or whatever. So it's really expensive. However, you can opt for a beer and chill and enjoy the space and then come back. That's totally fine too. I prefer to just sit outside somewhere with my friends and enjoy a couple of beers. Might cost me somewhere around 500 to 600K or 700 top. yeah, so that's pretty much it, I would say. And other expenses are probably you buy a book or you buy something else. So just keep it another 1 million for that as a budget for every month. Or you can order something online, you know, Shopee, Lazada. You have so many other online shops here. That said, let's come back and total it. So the first one was rent and utilities. So that comes into 8 million. The second one was food and drinks. That's another 8 million, so total 16. The third one was transportation. That's 1.2. That's 17.2. The fourth one was communication. Communication was 300K. It's like 17.5. The fifth one was clothing, which we said like 1 million per month. That's 18.5. The last one was party. I'm just gonna keep it like, you know, every week you spend at least 1 million, so that's 4 million. So 18.5 plus 4, it's 22.5 million. So that's expensive. That's like almost $1,000. Like 24 million is like $1,000. But you can cut a lot of this. You know, you can reduce party. You don't need to go party all the time. Probably you party once a month. I calculated like every week you party. So there's so many different ways to, you know, cut down the cost. All right, so that's the total cost, I think. There can be changes, there can be differences. People look into the way they live differently. Okay, I will just give you my total cost for when I was single. So for rent and utilities, I spent roughly around 5.5 million. For food and drinks every month, the max I would spend is 3.5 to 4 million. So totally say that 9 million. For transportation, I had a bike. So yeah, I used to spend like 1.2 million. So that makes it 10.2, 9.5. So it makes it 10.7 million. Then communication, that is 300K, so 10.5. Clothing, I rarely bought any clothes. I bought once or twice, I guess, in the whole year I stayed here. So I would say that I spent roughly around 2 million divided by 12 months, probably roughly around 200K or something. Yeah, that tops it to 11 million. Okay, put it like 11 million. And then other parties and other expenses. I usually get a beer myself or gather with my friends in my house and drink and stuff like that. So in a month I go for 2 parties like that. So my expense was roughly around $1 million or 2. So my monthly expense was always in that range. So 15 million is roughly around $650 or something. So that was my total expense for a year. So yeah, that completes the picture of how much it will cost you to live in Vietnam. There can be slight changes, like if you're planning to live in Hanoi, it might be a little bit more expensive or cheaper. It depends on the place where you live. And if you go to Da Nang, it's definitely going to be a lot cheaper than Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, because Da Nang is like a tier 2 city, I would say. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you're planning to come to Vietnam, stay tuned. I have a lot more videos coming up. And yes, I know that, you know, during this time, a lot of people are leaving Vietnam because of all that visa issues and everything. But you know, once everything is over, I'm pretty sure everything will be back to normal someday and people will travel back to Vietnam. This country is so beautiful to ignore. So yeah, that said, thanks again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and we will talk again in the next video. Ciao.